All right, team. So we've talked some about sodium bicarbonate and its benefits. We've talked some about potassium bicarbonate and its benefits. The best way to get bicarbonate into our bodies is with magnesium bicarbonate. However, it doesn't come in a solid form like our alkali metals, our sodium and potassium do. It can only be made. Naturally, it only exists in the ocean and in running streams and creeks. So why magnesium supplementation? Let's look to Dr. William Davis and get his take on it. The odds are stacked against us in obtaining magnesium from food and water in the modern world. Magnesium deficiency is alarmingly common, given reliance on water filtration that removes all magnesium, reduced magnesium content of modern vegetables, and widespread drug prescriptions for acid reflux and ulcers that reduce magnesium absorption. I cannot tell you how many people that I see are on acid blockers, Prilosec, omeprazole, and have no business being anywhere near it. Phytates from a single bagel or sandwich block magnesium absorption by 60%. The more grain is consumed, the more magnesium is blocked. Add it all up, and magnesium deficiency is the rule rather than the exception, and diet rich in healthy whole grains ensures deficiency. When I was in the Army working with the Thor 3 facilities, magnesium deficiency was highly hyped on. We never looked at it from the aspect or the lens of grain addiction though. But it is something that I've been familiar with for performance of high-performing soldiers for a long time. And now I'm seeing it in the extraordinarily poor performance of our aging populations as well. The recommended daily allowance, RDA, for magnesium is 320 females, 420 males. Most of us get about 245, well below the RDA. While not even factoring in the impaired absorption caused by grains and drugs. That means we get in 245, slice that in half by 60%. Now we're looking well around 100. Recommended is 425 males, or 420 males, 420 females. We're a third to a quarter of that per day. And if we recognize that the intake set by the RDA is just enough and not necessarily ideal, most of us have fallen far behind. Magnesium deficiency has real health implications because it provides structural integrity to bone tissue. Lack of magnesium contributes to osteoporosis and fractures later in life. If you break a hip over the age of 65, you have about, maybe off on this number a little bit, but about a 50% chance of being alive 6 months later. I cannot tell you how many females I see with osteopenia and osteoporosis. And when we go through their dietary intake, grain in the morning, grain for lunch, grain for dinner. And because we've spiked our sugar so high with all those 3 meals and it comes crashing down at some point in time, more grain right before bed. Grain after grain after grain. Earlier in life, magnesium deficiency is associated with hypertension, higher blood sugars, muscle cramps, low birth weight in infants, migraine headaches, heart rhythm disorders such as premature atrial and ventricular contractions, PVCs, atrial fibrillation, and even sudden cardiac death. What really got me turned on and sold on this was the atrial fibrillation one. Again, cannot tell you how many people I see who have atrial fibrillation. Another video, I called it an epidemic in America. Nothing's changed since that video. Granted, it's only been a day or two. And I do have one friend who, through magnesium bicarbonate supplementation, has come out of atrial fibrillation. This helped extraordinarily if we're pre-diabetic as well. A1Cs between 5.7 to 6.4. That's why it's so important to know your number, because it can be fixed. Grain removal, magnesium supplementation, you get your body back. Plus you get the added benefits of bicarbonate, meaning the increase in CO2 causing oxygen to actually leave red blood cells. See the video on breathing for that. Sodium bicarbonate, we'll do another video on just this. How do we make magnesium bicarbonate described as the ultimate mitochondrial cocktail? Nothing will do more to overcome mitochondrial decay and general low levels of cell energy than jacking in high levels of magnesium bicarbonate into cells. Magnesium bicarbonate occurs in nature as rare mountain spring water with a concentration making magnesium bicarbonate the best healing curative water in the world. Magnesium bicarbonate will help the soft tissues recover their original ability to process healthy nutrition correctly and eliminate wastes. So many upon many reasons why we would want to consider taking magnesium bicarbonate. Starting off with sodium and potassium while you get all of this set up, and then switching over to magnesium bicarbonate once that's done. So how do we make this? We've got magnesium hydroxide and carbonated water. You can get seltzer water from the store in bottles. You can get milk of magnesia from the store in bottles. However, even in the book, Wheat Belly, he talks about how most, like Phillips, for example, Phillips milk of magnesia now uses sodium hypochlorite, bleach, as an ingredient. No idea why. And he says, so use the generics because they don't have it. I've checked the stores now, all the generics, the Walgreens, the CVS's, and so forth, all have sodium hypochlorite in their milk of magnesia again. A lot of people that I meet don't have Amazon accounts, don't have, you really know how to use the internet much. You do have loved ones though, children, grandchildren, neighbors, friends at church who would love to buy this for you. Just ask, and I am sure somebody would help you out if you cannot get on the internet and if you don't have an Amazon account to get magnesium hydroxide. Seltzer water, these are the two ingredients. How do we mix them? So for magnesium water, it's recommended in Wheat Belly that it is 90 milligrams in 4 ounces of water. We are going to be using a half-gallon jug. In half a gallon, there is 64 ounces. That means we have a total of 4 goes into 64 16 times. So it's going to be 16 doses that we're going to make in this of 90 milligrams. 90 times 16 is 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium, meaning like if you have magnesium, it's always attached to something, a citrate, a bicarbonate, a this or a that. How much actual magnesium there is the elemental portion. So it's not how much magnesium hydroxide that we need to take, it's how much magnesium we need to take. So magnesium hydroxide, 1,000 milligrams of it, 1 gram of magnesium hydroxide has 410 magnesium elemental in it. We need 1440. So 410 goes into 1440 3.5 times. Times 1,000, because we're wanting, because this comes in 1,000 milligrams. So we now have 3,500, 3.5 grams, 3,500 milligrams of magnesium hydroxide needed to make this mixture. How do we know if that's right or not? If my math is good, it'll turn clear. If we use too much, it will stay cloudy. All right, so first thing I want to do is carbonate the water. And if you have sodium or seltzer water straight out of the bottle, that works just fine. I do recommend doing the reaction though in glass. One in. All right, so remember, 3.5 grams. That's not even a teaspoon. 2.5. Close enough. Perfect. So that's right at 64 ounces. Watch this. That's the reaction we're looking for. Now we cap it and we shake it. We don't shake it that long. It is looking very well absorbed. Before I learned how to do math, I was putting in way too much of this. We're getting a little bit of sedimentation to the bottom, but not much at all. All right, so give it another shake, off gas. Off gas. Off gas. Now we let it sit, do its thing. Should take about 30 minutes or so. Once it turns clear, we know we've got it, and put it in the fridge for 4 hours before consuming any. And that's magnesium water. Again, the most absorbable form of magnesium on the planet. Magnesium is critical for all aspects of health. We are deficient in it. I don't care what your magnesium serum level labs say. The amount of magnesium in our serum doesn't matter. The amount of magnesium in our cells matter. So if you want to get it checked, or if your doctor is looking at your magnesium levels already, ask instead to get a magnesium RBC lab instead of magnesium serum lab. RBC standing for red blood cells. So figure out how much magnesium is actually in your red blood cells, not in your serum. There is a transport deficiency usually going on. Bicarbonate will help out with that. Getting in the sunlight will help out with that. Osteopenia, osteoporosis, prediabetes, diabetes, acid reflux issues, taking omeprazole, atrial fibrillation, high blood pressures. Talk to your doc about this, give it a go yourself, whatever you think is best. And the recommended doses in the book, 4 ounces twice a day. That'll get us 180 extra magnesium that is almost all entirely absorbed by the body. He talks in the book of if you have atrial fibrillation, work up to 360 a day. Just out of magnesium, so that'd be 2 8 ounces, or you can go for 4 ounces. With bicarbonate, because it does react with stomach acid to produce CO2. Best not to take 30 minutes before or after meals. So take this in between meals, 2 to 3 times a day, 4 ounces, after talking it over with your provider, up to 8 ounces 2 times a day for 360 milligrams. All right, so it's been over 4 hours. I gave a 4-hour shake as well because it had a little bit of settling on it, then waited a little bit longer, another couple hours, and we have just the barest, littlest, tiniest bit of settling that didn't get absorbed into the water. Perfectly fine. Let's check the pH on it. And we'll give it about 15 seconds. All right, so we are looking around 8.0 to 8.5. Absolutely perfect. Remember, this is the bicarbonate level that's creating that. And I just checked my urine and saliva. Now I'm at the 5.0. I've been feeling cruddy all afternoon because I haven't been drinking water. My pH is dropping down. So I'm gonna go do some rest and recovery and hydrate with bicarbonate water and see the structured water video for the way that I'm going to do that. If you are feeling sick ever, these should be, everybody should have this in your home. This is not a science PhD level MD doctor. You got to be the smartest person on the face of the planet. You spit on a stick, you look where you're at, you pee on a stick, you look where you're at. If you're not in the balanced range, we need to get there by adding alkalinity to our body. So I'm going to go do that. And I'll put another video up going into a little bit more details on that. All right, thanks. Bye. Oh, wait, taste test. So about 4 ounces there. Wonderful. Absolutely fine. In the book, it says you can add some flavorings and some We're trying to train our tongue away from being sugar addicted, even if it's sweeteners that don't have sugar in them. Their whole purpose was to get you even more addicted to sweetness. You were up against $1 billion industry. You will not win. Just try to walk away completely from sweetness. We are the salt of the earth, not the sugar of the earth. All right, so I'm going to do 2 4 ounces a day. Since I'm way behind the power curve, I'm going to do 3 4 ounces spread apart, and then drink some of my structured water with salt in it and potassium bicarbonate and all kinds of other trace minerals, and get my pH levels back up. And by a couple hours from now, I should be feeling a lot better than I am right now. Thanks, bye.